Hello? Who is it?
Hi, Marlene, it's me, Denise. Would you be able to let me in? My arms are aching from carrying all these bags. Oh, these bags are so heavy. Oh, by the way, Marlene, weren't you supposed to be going to some kind of exercise class this evening? I wasn't sure whether to ring the bell or not, or just type in the password and come in directly, but I went with the bell in the end, just in case one or both of you were at home.
Well, because your father-in-law decided not to go to golf today, I decided to stay at home with him.
But you said you were looking forward to that class, didn't you? It was going to be your first time, and you said you were excited to be trying something new. You should have just gone anyway.
How could I do such a thing and leave my husband all alone at home? Oh, what's all this?
It's some stuff I brought from my dad's place. He says hi, by the way. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Is it okay if I quickly grab a glass of water?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Is Bruce in his study like usual?
Yes, he is.
I'll knock on the door and quickly say hi to him. Hi, Bruce. It's me, Denise.
Oh, hi, Denise.
I'll just carry on chatting with Marlene in the kitchen, okay?
Yeah, sure.
By the way, Marlene,
Yes?
did Bruce eat his lunch in his study today? There was a lingering smell of food as I passed by the door.
Oh, yes, he normally eats his lunch in his study. He likes to read while he eats, and it's more comfortable for him to do it in there.
Ah, okay, I see. But,
What is it?
well, I just find it a little strange that you both have free time and you're both at home, but you choose to eat separately.
Oh, your father-in-law just feels awkward around women, that's all. He never says more than a few words to you, does he?
Even if that is the case, you two have been living together for 33 years now. And you're his wife. You literally have a child together. How can he possibly feel awkward around you?
It's not just that, you know. He's a very learned man, and he likes to spend all day in his study surrounded by his books. He's a neurologist, you know. He's not just any old doctor. He needs to dedicate lots of time to his research. He's always so engrossed in his studies that sometimes he even forgets to eat.
But still, you decided not to go to your class just because Bruce decided that he wasn't going to golf today. Surely he should at least make a little time for you, knowing that you've canceled something you enjoy in order to spend more time at home.
Oh, it's fine. He's doing his research. I wouldn't want to disturb him. When I brought his lunch in today, he didn't even realize that it was already lunchtime. He was so absorbed in what he was reading. Honestly, if I didn't feed him, he would probably just waste away in there. By the way, what's all this? Oh, you really didn't have to go to the trouble of bringing all this nice stuff. These are really good quality condiments.
I know you're very choosy about what you cook with, so I made a special effort to pick out the ones that I thought you would like.
Well, that's very lovely. Oh, and what's this?
These are sweet potatoes that my dad has been growing in his vegetable garden. They're in season, so they should be really tasty.
I suppose it is fall already. Your dad really has been absorbed in his gardening since he moved out to the countryside, hasn't he? It seems like he's always having such a good time.
Yes, he thinks the gardener's life is very romantic. When he heads to his garden, he always says, "Goodbye, city, I'm heading back to nature now."
Well, it seems like your father is more interested in women than he is in nature, if you ask me. How come he has so many girlfriends?
What do you mean girlfriends?
When I went to that barbecue we held in his garden during the summer, I was so taken aback by how many women were there.
Ah, well, I'm very sorry if my dad's friends made you feel uncomfortable in any way that day, Marlene.
Well, I suppose he can invite whoever he wants to a barbecue that he's hosting, so I wasn't uncomfortable per se. I was just a little surprised at the number of women there. It made me wonder that perhaps they weren't all just your father's friends, and they were actually all his lovers.
Marlene, I told you at the time, and I will tell you again now. Those women are just friends of my dad's who happen to be female, that's all.
Well, it didn't seem that way to me.
What do you mean by that?
There was that one lady called Julie or Julia or something like that who runs a gallery in the city who was chatting to me in the kitchen, and she said that she would love to marry your dad if she could.
Julia? Yeah, she likes my dad, but my dad doesn't like her back.
You knew about this woman?
Well, yes, she makes her feelings pretty obvious.
Then why did you say she was just a friend who happens to be female?
Because that's how my dad thinks of her.
Are you really saying that she just has a one-sided crush on your dad, and he doesn't reciprocate her feelings at all?
Yes, that seems to be the case.
I'm sorry to say this, but your dad doesn't exactly look like the kind of guy that multiple women would be dangling after, if I'm brutally honest.
Well, no one really knows exactly what goes on between a man and a woman except the two people involved. Relationships are complicated, but men and women can just be friends, you know. Although he probably should tell poor Julia that he isn't going to marry her and make sure she doesn't have any false hope.
Is your dad really that popular with women? To the extent that he has that many female friends to invite to a barbecue?
Yes, he is popular with women. But he also has lots of male friends as well. Basically, he's popular with everyone. I'm not just saying this because he's my dad, but he just has this inherent charm about him that makes people want to be friends with him.
Why on earth is he so popular when he looks like a short, plumpy, lumpy red sausage and carries himself in a way that makes it obvious that he doesn't even have a shred of dignity? Well, I'm sure he enjoys getting under the covers with plenty of these female friends of his.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't make comments like that about my dad's personal life, Marlene.
Well, I've lived with your father-in-law for the past 30-odd years, so I don't really know that much about other men. The only places he ever goes are the golf club and the hospital, and as far as I know, he doesn't have a social life outside of his golfing friends. So a man like your dad is quite an alien specimen to me.
Well, that's because your husband is just a big lump of ice with no personality and no interests outside of his work. No women would be interested in approaching a man who has so little to say for himself. And to be honest, I can't even say with confidence that Marlene knows that much about her own husband, since they spend most of the day in separate rooms without interacting with each other. You can hardly call this a marriage. I hope my relationship doesn't end up becoming like theirs. Well, I'd better get going now, Marlene. It's Monday tomorrow, so I need to get ready for a new week at work. I still need to sort out a lot of things around the new house as well. A lot of our things are still in boxes.
You've been at the new house for almost 10 days now. Have you still not unpacked everything yet?
Yes, everything is still a little messy.
Well, still, it's very nice that you moved so nearby. It'll be great to see your faces more often. We can eat together regularly and share things with each other.
The only drawback is that both of us now have a longer commute to work, so we have to wake up much earlier in order to make it in time.
Well, if you don't want to wake up early, that problem can be solved by going to bed a couple of hours earlier, can't it? Honestly, I hope you're not skipping out on your duties around the house as a wife because you're too tired from work. You're so devoted to your work that you barely ever seem to be at home.
Well, you don't get paid money for nothing, do you? You need to put in effort at work and earn your keep.
Well, I know you're probably just leeching off my son's salary anyway, so there's probably not much point in you going out to work.
Wow, She really hates that I'm out there earning money for myself to the point that she refuses to even acknowledge it.
When is Randy getting back from his business trip, by the way?
Gets back on Wednesday.
He's always away on business, huh? His company is always ordering him to go to this corner or that corner of the country. Not that he has a comfy, warm, clean home and a nice homemaker of a wife waiting for him when he gets back. So I'm sure he's glad to be staying away for long periods of time.
Marlene, I'm leaving now, okay?
Oh, did you take offense at that, huh?
Honestly, she really doesn't have anything nice to say to me, does she? Unless I become the perfect little self-sacrificing traditional housewife, she's never gonna be happy with me, is she?
Oh, I'm not feeling too great. I'm just gonna take some pills really quickly.
Are you still taking those pills regularly?
To be honest, I don't think I'll ever really get over what I went through with my divorce. I might end up having to take these pills for the rest of my life. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk more about you. You were talking about your relationship dynamic. So do you and your husband go half and half on everything? Rent, bills, groceries, eating out, etc., etc.?
Well, yes, of course we do.
And you don't even know exactly what your husband does for work.
Do I really need to know all the ins and outs of it?
Okay, fair enough. If it's not important to you, it's not important to you. Does he not give you any money to spend on yourself?
Why would he do that? I'm not his child. I don't need pocket money.
He doesn't give you any spending money. That's quite surprising, you know. This doesn't seem right to me. As you know, I'm quite the expert on dating. I was even married for 3 years and everything.
Yes, I know, you're very experienced.
I've even been called the goddess of dating, or Dr. Dates before. You've got to admit it, I do give pretty good advice, don't I?
Yes, of course you do. Everyone is envious of how you're able to have such a passionate relationship again after your divorce. You would think you're in your 20s again. Being with him seems to have given you a new lease on life.
Now, there's no need to bring my age into this. Anyway, we've gone off topic. What were we talking about? Oh, yes. Well, in a relationship, they say that a woman should both give her heart and her body.
Right, yes, of course.
And a man should give his heart, his body, and his money. That's how a man demonstrates his true love.
Oh, really? I've never heard anyone say anything like that before.
Well, I'm saying it to you right now. Men need to show how much they love you through their actions.
My husband does show me how much he loves me through his actions. He's always doing little acts of service for me.
No. I'm not talking about those kinds of actions. I'm talking about the action of getting cash out of his wallet and spending it on you. I understand that in this day and age, young people like to go pretty 50-50 with their finances, and I think that's great. But I also think he should be putting aside a little extra money for you to treat yourself with.
I don't think so. I make enough money to treat myself if I want to. I prefer for us to keep our finances separate and not spend too much on each other.
I'm sorry if I upset you with something I said.
With all due respect, Renee, I feel like you're being a little condescending. I never asked for you to give me relationship advice.
I'm being condescending. All I'm doing is drawing on my superior experience to impart useful knowledge to you. Honestly, you'll thank me one day. You need to up your domestic game as well, you know. When you threw that housewarming party the other week, all the food you served was takeout. Not a single dish was homemade. Be honest with me. You're a terrible cook, aren't you?
I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. I already have my mother-in-law nagging at me constantly for not being a good little housemaker. I don't need you on my case about it as well. Anyway, where did all our male coworkers go?
They've probably all gone outside to smoke. This place is fancy and they make you go all the way around the back if you want to smoke so that you don't ruin their image.
Ah, I see. That explains why they're taking so long. I thought they'd gone home without even telling us.
If I were them, I'd just quit smoking already. It's way too much more trouble than it's worth.
You really do manage to be condescending about absolutely everything.
Hey! Why do you have to attack me like that again?
Why won't you introduce us to this boyfriend of yours, by the way? I don't understand why you're being so secretive about your relationship.
Oh, he's just a bit of a shy guy, that's all.
He can't be that shy if he's messaging you constantly all day, every day. Your phone is always pinging at work, and you're always looking at it and giggling like a little girl. The whole office knows about your relationship now. When does he even find the time to work if he's able to be blowing your phone up all day, every day?
Huh, I'm sorry if me messaging him at work has been getting on your nerves. It's just that we love each other so much that we can hardly bear to not contact each other for a single minute.
Well, romance isn't dead, I suppose. But I don't think I've ever seen any couple message each other so relentlessly. You've been dating him for 3 years already, right? And you're still not out of the honeymoon phase? That's quite impressive. You're always so protective over your phone when he's messaging you, though. As if you're worried that someone is going to snatch it out of your hands and run off.
Oh, you know me. I just like to protect my privacy. And also, I feel like if I do introduce him to all of my coworkers, it's kind of like I'm parading him around as a trophy. It's like passively saying, "You're mine and don't you forget it."
I don't think he would think that. And I know that none of our coworkers would think that of you either. We've been working together for 7 years already, and I know you're not the type to make a statement like that.
Well, he likes to feel like he has his freedom, and I wouldn't want him to feel like I was suffocating him.
Why would you let him roam free? I don't understand. When it comes to men, you should grab them firmly by the neck and say, "You're mine." Don't even think about seeing any other women.
And this way of thinking is exactly why you ended up married to the first man you ever went on a date with. Why would you need to grab the poor guy by the neck?
Well, just to make sure that he and everyone else knows where things stand between you. He needs to know that he belongs to you and only you.
See, when you say things like that, I get reminded why I always feel like I need to give you advice. Being overly possessive like that is one of the worst things you could possibly do in a relationship. That comes off as obsessive and can drive the man away. I never act like that in a relationship.
Well, if you don't act like that, how do you make sure that your partner doesn't stray away and get wandering eyes?
Shall I tell you the true secret of keeping your husband firmly in love with you then?
Maybe you should make your advice more general, because if you give advice about marriage in particular, it loses its value because, well, you're a divorcee. If you were still with your ex-husband, that would be a different matter.
Ha! I guess you're right there. Okay, instead I'll tell you the secret to how I keep my current boyfriend so into me. Do you want to know why it is that he spends every waking minute messaging me?
Yes, I am actually quite intrigued about that.
I date like a man, you see.
Like a man?
Yes. Whenever I'm with him, I focus solely on him and nothing else. That drives men absolutely crazy.
Oh, really it does?
And then, when we're apart, I focus on the other aspects of my life and I only contact him when I have the time. You see, he's actually the one messaging the most of the time. I don't always respond. Sometimes I'll leave him on read for a couple of hours, and other times I just read the message preview on my notification screen and wait for a while before actually opening the message. But he isn't ashamed to double, triple, or even quadruple message me. You need to make sure they're aware that they're not your priority. Whatever happens, I am number one in my eyes, and my work and my life comes before my relationship.
You need to make sure that your partner is not your priority. If you're gonna think that way, what's the point in being in a relationship in the first place? Shouldn't love always come first? That's what I've always thought anyway.
Do you really think that love should always be your priority? Do you really love your husband like that? You put your love for him before everything else?
Well, yes. When we were dating anyway. To be honest, I'm not too sure about now.
Love isn't just something that you feed someone, you know? You need to feed yourself as well. It's cliche, but you know what they say. You can't love somebody else until you learn to love yourself. If you don't live your life to the full, then your partner won't be able to live his life to the full either. And that's why, in order to have a healthy relationship, you need to make sure your partner knows that your life is your number one priority and not him. That way, when you do make time for each other, it'll be special and you'll be able to keep the spark ignited.
Ah, so that's why, despite being over 60, your boyfriend still obsessively calls and texts you. Because he's desperate for that spark time.
That's exactly right. Oh, look, speak of the devil. He's calling me right now.
Wow. And then there's my husband who never calls me, even when he's away on business. I think the last time he called me was because he wanted to ask me to pick up a couple of things from the store on my way home from work. What a difference.
Sorry, Denise, I'll just take this call really quickly. Hi, honey. Yes, I know. Yes. I'll go right now. Hey, Denise, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to get going now. My boyfriend wants to meet up. He says he's on his way to my place right now.
Why would you go to him too easily? Didn't you just tell me that you need to make it clear that the other aspects of your life come first?
Oh no, just having a couple of drinks with coworkers doesn't count as one of the things I need to prioritize. I see I didn't explain myself clearly enough for you to understand. You need to make compromises to keep your man happy as well. No man likes a woman who stays out all night drinking and comes home late. If you understand when you need to give in and compromise, then you know that you've finally mastered the art of being in a relationship.
Okay, I see. Wow, I guess this is why they call you the goddess of dating, huh?
That's right. I'll pay my part of the bill and get going then. Make sure you round up the others and keep a watch over them for the rest of the night, okay?
Yes, of course.
Let them know that I'm sorry for leaving without saying goodbye.
Yes, I think we'll probably leave soon as well after we finish these drinks.
Denise, is that you?
Oh, hi there, Marlene. Fancy seeing you here. What a coincidence.
We're gonna get going now, Denise. Thank you so much for treating us tonight. Yes, thank you so much. Oh, hello, ma'am.
Hi there. Did you come here for dinner as well, Denise?
Yes, my department had a little work party here this evening. We finished dinner an hour or so ago, and we're just having a couple of drinks to finish up. How about you?
I came here to have dinner with my friends yesterday, and I left my scarf here by mistake. So I came back to see if they had it in lost property. Anyway, is your husband not with you?
No, he's on another business trip already.
Again? Seriously?
I know, but it can't be helped.
By the way, does your company only employ men or something? Or did you only invite your male co-workers? Everyone at your table seemed to be male.
Well, the thing is, the only two women on our team are on a business trip right now. Our team leader is also a woman, but she had to leave earlier because of a personal matter.
You're not even convincing me with your lies. And you're very brazen with your behavior. Your father-in-law and I often come here and could catch you at any minute, yet you still have the audacity to go drinking with a bunch of men right under our noses.
I just told you we were having a little work party. The people you saw are my co-workers, who also just so happen to be male.
Well, I'm not convinced.
There really is nothing more going on here, Marlene.
I suppose you invite these men around your house as well, do you?
Yes, we were there for a few drinks beforehand, actually. But our team leader, who is also a woman, was also there.
Strange men in your house when your husband isn't even there. Well, now I see that this is an extreme case of like father, like daughter. Both of you are clearly addicted to fooling around with the opposite sex.
This woman really lets her imagination run away with her, huh? Sorry, Marlene, but I need to go and see off my coworkers properly.
You're not going somewhere else drinking with them all night, are you?
No, of course not.
I'm not sure that I believe you, but all right then. Anyway, I'm going to go and ask about my scarf. Are you coming to pick us up to take us over to your dad's place for the barbecue tomorrow?
Yes, I'll be there around 10 a.m.
Honestly, I don't know why he keeps having these barbecue parties, especially in this weather. It's the fall already.
Do you know what makes me the most angry about this?
Honey, I can explain.
Let me get this straight. So, every time you've been going on business trips, you've been staying with your side piece? Living in her house as if it's your own, and enjoying yourself without any remorse? And yet when you're at home, you still have the audacity to call me honey and darling. You're disgusting. There must be something wrong with you in the head.
Please, Denise, you've got to believe me. It was purely physical. I did not and do not have any feelings for her at all.
How am I meant to believe it was just one woman? I saw the names of multiple women in your text conversations. How do I know you don't have a lover for each destination you've claimed to be on a business trip in?
Okay, fine, it was more than one woman. Someone like me who has to drink with clients 3 or 4 nights a week is exposed to getting seduced, though. Why can't you understand that? It's basically an occupational hazard.
No, I can't understand, to be honest. I need a better explanation than this. Come on then, try and get me to understand your messed up self-justification.
It just couldn't be avoided.
So, do you go around getting stamps on your passport for sleeping with a different woman in each location, huh? A notch on the bedpost for every corner of the country, huh?
I've known them all for quite a few years now, and we drink together often. My company has certain bars that we frequent when we're away on business. And I'm the one who is responsible for client reception, so I always have to be the social one.
Yes, but you didn't just drink with them, did you? You slept with them. That's above and beyond being social.
I didn't sleep with all of them, though. I only slept with 2 of them, one in Chicago and one in Minneapolis. I didn't do anything except have drinks and flirt a little with the others.
Oh, are you bragging about how much restraint you have right now? Are you proud of yourself for only sleeping with 2 of them when you clearly had so many other chances? And don't pretend that you didn't enjoy yourself. I'm sure you loved having the power to charm and discard someone as you pleased.
Honey, I promise you that I won't meet any of them ever again. If I did after you catching me like this, I couldn't even be considered human anymore, could I?
Oh, so you think that I'm just gonna forgive you and let it slide if you just say that you're not gonna meet them anymore? You would love it if I did that, wouldn't you?
Honestly, You should open up the door when someone rings the doorbell. I had to resort to letting myself in.
Mom?
You left me standing out there looking like a lemon. Anyway, are you two in the middle of a fight?
Mom, don't pretend that you were ringing the bell. I'd left the door propped open a little with one of my golf clubs to let some air in, so if you've been standing there for a while, you must have heard everything.
Okay, fine, I heard everything. And you, Denise, are you not embarrassed with yourself?
Why would I be embarrassed?
You're perfectly entitled to be angry, but there's no need to keep nagging like that. I know that it's natural for you to be upset in this situation, but you need to understand that someone who does business like your husband is going to find himself in these situations every now and again.
I also have to go out and do business, but I don't go around getting drunk with this guy or that guy and sleeping with them, do I?
Well, there's no point in retorting with these useless arguments, is there? You need to learn how to handle things maturely and responsibly as adults. It's not like he has a secret second family somewhere else or anything like that, is it?
Well, just take a look at his phone. It's not just one or two girls. He's got a whole string of them.
Give me my phone back right now. I am leaving now. I have to go and play golf with my bosses, and I really can't be late. Come on, Mom, let's go.
Oh, you go on ahead. I want to talk to your wife about a couple of things. Just the two of us.
Mom, there's no need to give Denise a hard time. I'm the one in the wrong here. Come on, let's go. I'll drive you home.
Are you going to at least eat before leaving?
No, of course not.
I was just coming here with the expectation of having a meal with you two, so I'm a bit hungry, that's all.
All right, Mom, I'll buy you something to eat on the way home, okay?
Oh no, it's fine. You get on your way. Honestly, the last thing I need is extra stress from you, you stupid boy.
Okay, Mom, I'll leave you here then. But please, just don't say anything out of hand. I'm the one in the wrong here.
Yes, we all know that you're in the wrong. Every man and his dog knows. You don't need to say it again, so just shut up and go and play golf already, okay? Do you think women put up with their husband's infidelity because they're stupid? No, they put up with it because they consider the fact that a marriage also means that their two families become intertwined, and they know that it's not worth jeopardizing these relationships because their feelings were a little hurt. Given all that and the unpredictable nature of life, what's the big deal if he had a couple of flings with girls in bars?
It's not like it was just once or twice with one or two women, though. As a fellow woman, surely you can understand how betrayed I'm feeling right now. You never know what the future holds, and there's no guarantee that something like this won't ever happen to you, Marlene.
I may be a fellow woman, but I know that something like this would definitely never happen to me.
I really don't understand how women can so easily overlook their spouse's infidelity like it's nothing.
What's the big deal? It's not like he was having relationships with them, was he?
I still think it's disgusting.
It's not like you had to see it happen. Just carry on living your life as if nothing is different and you'll be fine.
I also really don't want to spend the rest of my life constantly being suspicious of my husband.
I really don't know why you're making such a huge fuss over such a tiny thing.
Such a tiny thing?
To be honest, I don't really think you have the right to call your husband out on this, considering how your father behaves.
Excuse me? How dare you bring my dad into this? He has nothing to do with it. I told you before, my dad doesn't have lots of girlfriends, he just has lots of female friends.
He seems to like having these female friends of his around a lot. I wonder what your mother would make of his behavior if she were still with us.
You've crossed a line there, Marlene. I would really appreciate it if you don't use my mother, who passed away when I was very young, against me. But since you are clearly aware that my father is a widower, You therefore also must understand that means he is single. So whatever he does or doesn't want to do with women is entirely his business and nothing to do with you nor I. However, I do know for a fact that the women you met that night at his barbecue are in fact nothing more than close friends of his.
Oh, really? And do these friends of his always sleep over at his place?
Oh, the lady you saw leaving his house in the morning that time had too much to drink the night before. So she stayed there instead of trying to get herself home in a state. I know that lady very well.
Well, what your husband did is no different to what your dad did then, really.
No, it is in no way similar.
So you can understand your dad's behavior, but you refuse to forgive your husband. Honestly, I just thought I had come for a nice, uneventful barbecue at your dad's place. But when I was in the bathroom, someone knocked on the door, so I came out as quickly as I could. And who was standing outside there waiting? None other than the lady who runs the gallery in the city, who's apparently head over heels in love with your dad. Or so I thought. But no, it was a different woman. I said hi to her and was about to ask her if she had also just arrived, and then I noticed that she hadn't even washed her face, and she was standing there in her pajamas with her hair all a mess from sleeping. Imagine how shocked I was. I thought it was very shameless.
You used the second floor bathroom, right? That floor is reserved for guests, which means that she definitely hadn't come from my dad's room.
I still think the whole thing is very fishy.
I really don't appreciate how determined you are to brand my dad as a womanizer.
Listen to you. You're angry because you know you can't defend him. Do you think that was all? What did I do to deserve being caught between two women, listening to stories from the woman who owns the gallery and the one who I encountered outside the bathroom, all while trying to make sense of the chaos? And then a third woman pops up from the garden, inviting us to eat burgers with the fresh lettuce picked today. I think she said that she was a widow and that she was the president of the local community or something like that. She said she graduated from Harvard and was kind of a top scholar, but she gave all that up and got interested in farming and self-sufficiency, which is how she became friends with your dad. And it's like they've known each other for 1,000 years.
Yes, that lady was a lot of help to my dad when he was getting the new house built. She's a very sociable and bubbly person, isn't she?
You can make as many excuses as you like, but it's not normal for men and women to be as close friends as they are. And then, before I knew it, a fourth woman drove up in a fancy car and said she was classmates with your dad in elementary school, and now she runs a hair salon not too far away from here. They're all widows, by the way. Why does your dad have so many friends who are widows?
Can you please stop misinterpreting things however you like and just take things as they are at face value? They are just his friends. And let me reiterate, he is also a widower. And if you remember rightly, there were actually 10 men there at the party and only 7 women, including you and me.
Well, I don't know if you're just really stupid, or if you know that your dad is having relationships with all those women and you're just covering for him.
Marlene, do you not realize how ridiculous and also inappropriate it is to bring up my dad's relationship with his female friends, which you don't really know anything about, when your son has literally been caught cheating on me with random girls he met in bars? Are you proud of your son for what he's done to me?
Of course I'm not proud of him. I'm just saying that you should just accept that it happened and let it slide.
I really don't understand how you, as a woman, can say something like that to another woman.
Well, there's something else I'll say to you as a fellow woman. I really can't understand you at all.
What are you talking about?
Well, I saw that you were hanging out with a bunch of men and drinking with them like it was nothing a while ago. So I don't understand why you think what my son did was so bad. You and your father are clearly two peas in a pod. obsessed with soliciting with the opposite sex and thinking nothing of it. The apple never falls too far from the tree, you know. A womanizer like your father was obviously going to produce a shameless man-eating daughter.
Oh, well, according to that logic, your husband must be the worst cheater out of all of us then. If I get my man-eating tendencies from my dad, then your son must have inherited the infidelity gene from his.
Excuse me. How dare you bring your father-in-law into this? He's not like your dad at all. He's as pure and innocent as a monk.
Well, if you didn't want me to start dragging your husband's name through the mud, you shouldn't have started insulting my dad in the first place. For your sake, I really hope that your husband turns out to not be like his son. But as we said, you never know what the future may hold.
Denise, slow down a little. I think you've already had enough.
Oh, I guess I did drink quite a lot today, didn't I?
I know you were upset, but to be honest, he's just a small man who isn't worth crying over or getting frustrated over. You deserve so much more.
I know. Everyone keeps saying that to me. Maybe it isn't that much of a big deal. And to be honest, I didn't marry him because I really, really loved him. I married him because he was nice enough, and I felt like I was at the right age to be getting married. If I'm getting upset over this, then imagine how women who really love their husbands must feel when they get cheated on.
Oh, trust me, I know how it feels. They get really, really angry. Then they break things. And then they go into a depressive episode and need to take pills regularly in order to carry on with regular life. Anyway, they do get over it eventually and move on with their lives. Trash talk him some more to me. I'm sure that'll make you feel better.
Honestly, the fact that he has the audacity to carry on his life as normal and pretend that nothing happened is really off-putting for me. But the thing is, the most annoying thing about him is how unattractive he is to me. I knew he wasn't the hottest guy in the world, but I must have liked something about him at some point. But now, whenever I see him walking around the house, I feel a little bit sick. Like that? Cheated on me? I feel more annoyed that I even dated him and married him in the first place.
So you find him really ugly now. Did that make you feel better about the whole thing?
Yes, a little.
I knew you would.
You really are the goddess of dating. You can predict everyone's emotional changes.
So, do you not have any feelings left for your husband at all now?
Don't even call him my husband anymore. Now I'm just waiting for the right time to file for divorce.
Then you won't be upset if I give you a little science lesson that isn't going to be too kind to him then.
I guess not. Go ahead. I'm intrigued.
Well, you know guys who are generally muscular and lean tend to have a strong sex drive and are good at, you know what, doing it.
So you're telling me that your boyfriend is muscular and lean and good in that department?
Yes. I'll make it really obvious how into him I am, don't I? Yeah, he has the perfect body type for extracurricular activities. He's really strong and has so much energy, even though he's older than me.
That must be really nice for you.
Here's where the science comes in. The more fat you have, the more female sex hormones you produce. And the more estrogen you produce, the less sex drive you have, and the worse you are at doing it.
Sounds like my husband then. At least I can rest assured that his side pieces probably didn't enjoy themselves that much, because I sure as hell never really did. Oh, I'm getting annoyed at myself for wasting all that time on him again.
Sweetheart, don't waste your energy getting angry about him anymore. After you've sorted yourself out mentally, you can finally move on and do whatever you want to do with your life.
I really don't understand men. Even the ugliest of them have the confidence to cheat on their wives, it seems.
Well, you know, ugly people do ugly things.
That's so true. That's how I'm going to think of that husband of mine from now on. An ugly little man who does ugly little things.
Yes, go girl. This is the attitude we want to see.
What an ugly, ugly idiot he is.
Hey, how about you come over to my place at the weekend now that you're feeling a little better?
To your place? To do what?
I'll introduce you to my boyfriend that you were so curious about, and the three of us can pop open a few bottles and get really drunk to help you get your mind off things.
What use is getting really drunk? It's not like it's gonna help solve any of my problems. No, that's not the right attitude to have. I would love to drink with you. Send me your address and I'll be there.
Honey, can we talk?
What are you doing coming into my bedroom? I never said you could come in here. Get back on the couch where you belong.
I was thinking that maybe if we slept in the same bed again, it would help fix things between us. Apparently, if couples start sleeping in the same bed again, even if they're angry with each other, it helps to make things go back to normal faster after a blip like this.
Who on earth told you that?
My mom did.
Ugh, people do ugly things.
Excuse me?
I don't want to see your ugly mug in my room anymore, so get out of here already.
Hey, come on in. You went as far as to buy flowers. That's so cute.
Hello there.
Say hi, Denise. This is my boyfriend you've been dying to meet.
Hi, it's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. Wait a second. Bruce?
Denise?
So what you're saying is that he was your doctor when you were getting treatment for your mental health issues after your divorce. So you first met as doctor and patient and then progressed into something more.
Yes, that's right.
Well, that was probably very unprofessional of him, but to be honest, that's the least of my worries right now. I'll just ask you one question. You knew that he was a married man the whole time, right?
Yes, I knew the whole time.
And yet you've got pictures of the two of you together plastered all over your apartment. Oh, wait a second. Let me take a quick picture of your lovely apartment, actually. Oh, it's come out really nicely.
What are you taking a picture of my apartment for?
Oh, no reason. Just wanted to take some interior design inspiration from you. Anyway, you're looking very relaxed about this whole thing.
Well, it's because I don't get why you're so shocked and upset by this. You're not his wife or his daughter. You're just his daughter-in-law. So does this really affect you? You don't even like your mother-in-law, and you're planning on getting divorced soon anyway, right?
If you're sleeping with my father-in-law, does that mean that you're also my mother-in-law?
Come on, Denise, don't be like this. I've been to hell and back with this divorce. Surely you should be happy that I'm happy, even if I am dating a married man.
Renee.
What, Denise?
I'm gonna act as if our last few years of friendship never happened.
Well, if that's what you really want to do.
From now on, we're strictly co-workers. As a friend, you're dead to me. I won't bring up your personal life again, nor share the information I just learned with anyone else at work, but please don't try and be friendly with me and invite me to go for drinks or coffee with you anymore. I know that you're happy in this relationship, but as a woman, you must understand that having a relationship with a married man is wrong. The whole reason you invited me over to drink with you tonight was so you could console me about the fact that I was cheated on. Surely you can see how hypocritical it is to act like you're feeling sorry for me, knowing full well that you're in a relationship with a cheater.
I know how it must seem to you, but because we've been seeing each other for so many years, our bond is even stronger than his relationship with his wife. I can't just break things off with him. We're in love.
Honestly, I'm starting to really question what the point in getting married is. Everyone is cheating or being cheated on. And didn't your ex cheat on you as well? Isn't that why you got divorced in the first place? After you went through all that trauma, you still decided to get into a relationship with a married man and potentially make some other poor woman as miserable as you were. You were nothing but a shameless adulterer. Oh, and one more thing.
What is it now?
Tell my father-in-law, who is currently hiding in your Roman shame, that I'm going to tell his wife everything, and there's nothing he can do to stop me.
So, you will be getting a divorce after all?
Yes, Denise says I've left her with no other choice.
Can't you just forgive him, Denise?
He clearly doesn't want to be forgiven. Why don't you ask him where he went on Saturday night?
Don't tell me you went to meet one of your side pieces again!
Yeah, I did.
Why on earth did you do that?
She said she wanted to see me one more time as a final goodbye.
Well, I guess one night really doesn't hurt in the grand scheme of things.
Can you hear yourself right now, Marlene?
He said he went to see her in order to end things with her properly. Surely you should be grateful for that instead of whining about the fact that he saw her again. And can you blame him for wanting to see her again when you haven't so much as looked at him in the past couple of months?
What was I supposed to do given the circumstances?
You should at least have greeted him when he came home from work, or made sure the house was nice and tidy for him. Honestly, even before he cheated on you, you were a lousy wife who only ever thought about work and wasn't interested in being a homemaker. You would always drop any plans with him if a work thing came up. You never treated him how a wife is supposed to treat her husband. No wonder he cheated on you. You drove him into the arms of other women because you're simply not good enough as a wife.
You might as well save your breath insulting me, Marlene, because we're going to get a divorce no matter what you say.
Honestly, if everyone got divorced for as tiny a reason as this, not a single marriage would survive, I'm telling you. Honestly, you never made my son's home a comfortable place for him like you should have. If your mother were alive today, I'm sure she would be ashamed of you for allowing your marriage to fail so easily and for getting divorced over nothing.
It's very low of you to bring up the deceased so underhandedly like that. Though it is kind of appropriate that my last interaction with you involves you insulting me and dragging my family into things unnecessarily. I actually feel kind of strangely lighthearted about this whole thing now. It's almost funny.
Disrespectful of your mother-in-law until the end, I see.
I think I probably won't see you again after today, so I'll leave this picture with you as a little memento.
If I lose my temper here, it's my loss. I'd be losing to that woman. But still, I feel so angry and shaken. My husband hasn't shared a bed with me for 3 years. I thought it's because he couldn't perform anymore and he was embarrassed about it. Turns out it's because he's too worn out from his younger mistress to even bother with me. Oh, I'm so furious, But I must retain my composure. What did I say to you before? Something like this is no big deal. I stand by my word and I'll tell you right now that this isn't something worth getting upset about. Men will be men, and they will do things like this. It's not like he's gone and had a second family behind my back.
Yes, you're right there. He doesn't have a second family or anything like that, but you always seemed to think that he was shy and awkward around women and only knew how to act cold towards them. And yet he relentlessly messages and calls his affair partner. So much so that she can't even do her work properly. You thought the reason he wouldn't eat with you is because he was busy studying? Well, now you know what he was actually doing holed up in his study all day long.
How do you know how often he messages her? Don't go making stuff up.
Oh, but I'm not making anything up. Your husband's affair partner is my team leader at work, who I see every single day at the office.
Well, men are just like animals, and they like to have a taste of something new every now and again. It's only natural that they have a few dalliances with this woman or that woman.
You're right. But he hasn't been seeing this woman and that woman. He's only been seeing the one woman for the past 3 years. Unlike me, who juggles work with doing things around the house, you've devoted your life to the family and have always been present. You always kept the house nice and clean. Were always there to welcome your husband when he came home from work. Always adjusted your schedule to suit your husband. But he still wasn't grateful enough to you to want to stay faithful. His side piece doesn't even put that much effort into giving him attention, and yet he's still somehow obsessed with her.
I suppose it was probably just like playing a fun game for him.
Well, I guess it is true that the apple didn't fall too far from the tree with your husband and your son. But it turns out that your husband's level of infidelity makes your son's one night here and there look a little pathetic. It's almost funny that your son had the audacity to cheat on me when he looks like that and doesn't take care of himself. But as for your husband, he went out of his way to keep himself in shape so that he could keep up with his younger lover. Apparently, he's so full of life when he's with her, which is why she loves him. He probably does things for her that he has never done for you before.
What kind of things?
Oh, I don't know. I'd say use your imagination, but I'm not sure that it would stretch that far. How does it feel, knowing that both your husband and your son are shameless adulterers? You're gonna have to deal with that knowledge for the rest of your life now. My dad is carrying on living the happy and fulfilling life surrounded by his friends, some of which happen to be female, that my ex-mother-in-law disapproved of so much. I often go over to visit him and we host barbecues together, chatting about life and having a few drinks with friends. As for my ex-father-in-law and Renee, it looks like they're carrying on seeing each other, and my ex-mother-in-law has decided not to confront them about their relationship. She bragged about her husband so much and was so mean about my dad, but it turned out that her husband was the only shameless womanizer out of the two. Even today at work, Renee's phone was blowing up with messages, and it seems that my ex-father-in-law is actually being more blatant about his cheating now that he's been caught out, instead of trying to be discreet out of respect for his wife. It seems that my ex-mother-in-law is doing exactly what she told me to do, and keeping her mouth shut about her husband's infidelity and just letting it slide. I wonder how long she'll be able to endure this for, though, because I knew that she was upset when I told her about her husband's affair, and she was just holding it in so that I wouldn't see how much she'd been affected by it after everything she said to me. Perhaps she really will just put up with it for the rest of her life. Who knows? Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.